Estamos en vivo.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Bienvenidos a un videochat más desde la casa Rolling Stone. Hoy nos estamos, pues ahora sí que de manteles largos. Tenemos nada más y nada menos que a Brandon Boyd y a José Pasillas de Incubus en la casa. Welcome, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
We're really happy to have you here, as we told before. You guys are promoting your new album, 8.
Yes.
The 8th album on your career. And, we want to talk about this. We're going to answer some questions from the audience. And we're really happy to have you guys back here in Mexico. How's it been these days so far?
It's been busy, but it's been really good. We got fed very well last night here.
Where did you guys went?
We went to, what was it called, Jose? I'm forgetting the name of the restaurant.
Paramo?
Paramo.
Good restaurant.
Really good.
Very good.
They fed us so well. So we're happy. We're once, if we get like fed properly, we can do anything. We're like, you know, like dudes. Guys out there. It's like if you sleep enough and you get enough to eat,
You're good to go.
Yeah.
Excellent, guys. So you're promoting your new album. Actually, I wanna speak and talk with you about all your career, because I think you're one of those bands that have so many history to tell, and I think most of the people don't know how you guys started and how's been your journey so far. Actually, it's been more than 20 years since you guys started in the music industry, and almost 30 as a band. I would like to know what are the most significant things that you guys learned in this time.
Oh my gosh, that's a big question. Well, yes, you're correct. We started our band in 1991.
Actually.
And we started, we've known each other since elementary school. We met Michael in middle school, and we started our band when we were 15. We were in 10th grade in high school. And it was started as a project for an English literature class. And then we got asked to play a party, and then another party, and then we were like, we better learn more songs. So we started writing songs really early. That's the sort of inception of this band. But as far as what we've learned, I feel like I'm still learning. I feel like I'm just starting to get the hang of it, 26 years in. I've had moments over the years where I felt like I knew what I was doing, and then they were stolen away from me in some humbling instance. We spent a lot of time in front of large audiences, like in front of live audiences, and there's no better way to learn on the job than when you have thousands of eyes on you.
I know.
You learn really quick.
You feel the pressure, and you have to do.
Yeah, whether collapse under the pressure of it or you adapt. You know.
Speaking mostly of music industry and not not like labels or anything, but the music in general. And you're a band that have gone to every continent, lots of countries. What's the biggest thing that you had from all these experiences?
That's a wonderful question too.
Just really experiencing different cultures and different people. I mean, because we've spent so much time in just California for half of my life, that traveling was one of the things that I was most excited to, just to see how other people live, because I feel like I just have tunnel vision of where I live. So just meeting people, seeing the different environments that we get to travel, and tasting different foods from all over the world.
You like food?
Love food, I just like new experiences, and especially if we get to do cool things like go to ruins, and just check out the earth. The earth has so much to give, just historically, and we get to go to so many places all over the world, and then we get to play music for these people all over the world. It's really a blessing.
I was just gonna say something that I've learned traveling around the world for over half of our lives now, by the way, which is crazy. Is that music has this incredible potential to bridge cultures. It can bridge divides. So I remember the first time we went to like a Muslim majority country. The only thing I knew about the country, which was mostly Islamic in its sort of culture, was what I had read in the newspaper or seen on the news, which doesn't tell you anything. And so we go places in Southeast Asia or in the Middle East and play concerts. and you see people being people and they have their desires and their wants and their hopes and their dreams are so similar to ours, and it was kind of embarrassing almost that I had gone to some of these places, so many, but not just like Muslim majority countries, but different countries in general, where you think you know what you're getting into, you have no idea how alike we all are until you really like go to these places. And then music is this opportunity to bridge those divides, in that we sing songs and we all sing them together. You don't have to speak the same language. You know what I mean? And it's an incredible thing just to be intoxicated by a rhythm or by a melody. It almost doesn't matter what people are saying in the songs, but just you sing along and you dance with your brothers and sisters. It's an incredible experience. It's been humbling, to say the least.
Excellent. I was just listening your new album, 8, and in the last song, which
That
one?
one right there?
Yeah, 8. And in your last song, Throw Me Out the Map.
Throw out the map, yeah.
Yeah, really cool song. I really love the beginning, and you can hear two people say, do you have any idea where we are right now? And someone answers, I have no fucking idea where we are right now. Do you guys know where Incubus is right now?
Not really.
We're in the middle of a journey that we have no idea where it's going to end up or lead us to.
Yeah.
And part of learning, what I've learned, is just being open and adaptable. I mean, you kind of have to. You cannot control or steer really anything. But if you learn how to adapt, you just kind of go on the journey, and you could be more free. And that's kind of, our music kind of takes us there. We can't control the music. The music sort of leads us, and then we sort of like kind of make it into something that's listenable, and like a little. It's like in a nice little package, but it's kind of directing us, So just being really open and learning to adapt, because everything's changing all the time.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the term, you can't control the waves, but you can learn how to surf?
Yeah,
I love that term.
I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to surf, but
One day. You guys have good surf down here, then.
yeah, there's some cool beaches out
Yeah.
there. Well, actually, California, it's surf is like one of the biggest.
Surfing's like a religion in California.
I know. Excellent. Well, besides naming the album 8, because it's your 8th album, studio album, what does this number and work as an LP means to you?
It was one of those things. Naming a record is either the most simple part of the process, or it can also be like potentially the most heavy, because you are trying to put like the ribbon on the present that you've spent so much time and love and energy creating. So we threw around a bunch of different ideas, and we got to 8, and it kind of gave everybody in the band the same feeling of kind of like, oh yeah, that's it, that's exactly it. It just made perfect sense that it was something simple, iconic, but also a beautiful single line that's meandering. So
8.
Yeah, just the number 8 is to me, it's one of the most beautiful numbers, and having that unobstructed line, that kind of wiggling
Like
line.
infinite.
Yeah,
Like an
no
infinite
beginning,
line.
no end.
Yeah, that's kind of like our story of our life in this band.
Excellent, guys. Well, this is not only about us, it's also about your fans. So I'm sure we have a lot of questions from the fans. And please, Camila.
Ana Salinas says, greetings from Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua. They're asking
That's
you...
where my dad's from.
Excellent.
Shout out. Sorry.
Hello guys, the name 8 from this album, why the name? Thank you and see you in Toluca already.
Yeah.
And Leslie Quinn, tell Brandon that I love him.
Tell Leslie Quinn that I love her too.
You tell her.
Oh, Leslie Quinn, I love you.
Andy Dimitri, please come to Argentina.
We're planning on it soon. Early. Wait, are we? Not September.
Are we supposed to say
Early next year, we'll be
I
there.
think early next year we're going to be doing a more involved tour of Central and South America.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
Great.
Hector Sariñana, in what band would you be if you were not with Incubus?
What band?
Yes.
Or would you like to be also?
Hi,
That would
would
be
like to.
that would
Like a
be-
band that we would like to be in?
You could be the lead singer from Led Zeppelin. I don't know.
Oh, dang. So it's gone like super trippy. Whoa. I mean, that's a good idea.
I want to play in Primus.
Yeah.
Actually, you guys played some shows when you guys started with Primus.
We toured with them.
Yeah.
1999. Yeah.
It was
Really
great.
cool.
The drummer at the time was Brain, who replaced Tim Alexander. Brain's an incredible drummer too, but Tim Alexander was one of my favorites.
Uh-huh.
So it was still so fun touring with them, and a band that you looked up to, going out on tour with them. It's just super fun.
Excellent. If you could be in any band, which one would be? Besides Primus.
The Police would be pretty awesome too.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Our editor, Alex Carranco, would like that. He's a really big, huge The Police fan. Actually.
Yeah.
Our band are collectively very big fans of the Police as well.
And you, Brandon, which other band would you like to join?
I really like being in this band.
Good answer. Good answer.
Something ridiculous is coming to my mind. I'm just going to say it. There's a documentary out there called The Source Family. It's about a cult that was like a health food store cult that happened in Los Angeles in the 1970s.
Uh-huh.
And they had a band that toured around playing high schools and converting people to their cult. And they were not good, but it was sort of awesome looking in the documentary. So
I know.
it'd be fun maybe to be in that band.
There are some bands that are like really good looking and cool, but their music is not so much, but you like it because they look good.
Right, that's true. Yeah, they spend too much time on like their hair and their jeans, but not enough on the music. But that's something.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's some work.
Yeah, exactly.
Lucian Mendez, how is your daily life? Do you have a routine?
Yeah, I mean, there's on-tour routines and off-tour routines. Off-tour, I get up, brush my teeth.
No way.
I'm very domesticated, so I take my daughter to school and I do things that I love to do. I fill my days with things that I enjoy. So I do that, and I kind of bookend those things with my family, and then on tour I still do the things that I love to do, and then kind of bookend it with a concert, and then the beginning, I don't know, coffee. I'm not sure.
I start my day with coffee and I end my day with tea. And in between all of that, in the morning I like to either read or write. I've always found that my brain is more cooperative early in the morning, like right when I first wake up, right around that first cup of coffee. And then when we're off tour, I love to surf and I love to paint, and I hang out with a little French bulldog named Bruce, who tried to kill me in a recent music video we made. It's called Nimble Bastard. He formulated a team of other disgruntled French bulldogs, and they tried to destroy us, but they failed. We emerged victorious at the end of the day. I'm also kind of domestic. I'm single. I'm alone, but like I have a dog and a cat, and I talk to my plants. I surf and ride my bicycle and things like that.
I think I don't know where I read it, but talking to plants it's good for them. Actually.
It's good for us too.
I didn't know that. For
It is. Well, it's good for me. I don't know.
It works.
It totally works.
It's really cool that you spoke about a nimble bastard, and I was reading that you in some interview said that it's about struggle and about somebody who's like them but still like fights. I don't know if I'm right.
That's in the ballpark. Yeah.
Yeah. And talking about like overcoming difficulties, is this like something that happens in your real life? Do you have like daily struggles for other things?
Yeah, absolutely. There's an element to life, probably any life ever lived on Earth, where we are in some kind of a difficult dance of some kind with something, whether it's like an emotional upheaval or whether it's something physical that we're all bound to encounter because we are mortals, but there is something in sort of the human spirit, I suppose, that there's a resilience, there's an adaptability, which is truly astounding. And I can speak from experience, and the experience of having been mortally wounded and thinking that I would have to walk with a cane for the rest of my life. About 13 years ago, I had a terrible injury and I had to have multiple surgeries to correct it, and my body, it took a long time, but my body bounced back and in a lot of ways I'm like healthier now because of being shown that level of mortality. And so a song like Undefeated on the new record, or a song like Nimble Bastard, is kind of alluding to that notion that we could be bent beyond recognition but still be unbroken and actually have the capacity to come back from the dead, what seems like the dead.
Yeah, I know. Or probably what you think is the dead.
Yeah, because there are times everyone's experienced where emotionally or physically you're like, I'm done, like go on without me, I can't, oh, I can't go anymore. And then there's usually a person in your life that's like, no, you can, get the fuck up and keep going, shake it off. And so we have incredible personal resilience as human beings, but also we have to pay respect and homage to the people who truly love us and truly know us, and remind us of how strong we are. So Nimble Bastard is an example of, I was observing someone who was knocked down to a point where I was like, there's no way you're going to get back up. There's no way. And they get back up and they keep going. And so the song is a moment of admiration that I have for this person. I'm like, whoa, teacher, like show me how you do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But with the video we made, it's sort of the opposite. It's like ridiculous. we went in another direction with it.
Actually, it's really cool that you mentioned Undefeated, because I really like it from your album, and it has like this potentially great things for being a single. Do you plan to put it as a single? Or?
It's potential. I mean, it definitely. I mean, I personally think so. That's one of my favorite songs, and I think it would lend itself really well to radio. But it's like we'll sort of cross that bridge when we get there. But I would love to see that. Really, any of our songs, I'd be proud to make a single. I'm proud of all of them. But that one seems like it would work really well.
Excellent.
I have a really cool idea for a music video for that song.
Yes.
That's not ridiculous. Maybe a little bit, but not like.
We should do the video anyways. We should.
Totally.
Guys, before you released 8, you released an EP, which is not like really common coming from a band that is used to release only LPs,
Yeah.
And before that, if not now when, it was released in 2011.
Yeah.
Why did you guys took so much time between 2 LPs, and what happened in that gap between your last album and this one, the recent one?
In that period of time, we fell apart, and we were falling apart, and we saw that we were falling apart, and we made a very conscious decision to let it kind of fall to pieces, and then step back from it and look at it and see what was there. And so when the dust sort of settled after the tour behind If Not Now When, it was a very difficult time for us as a band, but also personally. But when the dust settled, we realized that, number one, the dust settled, we had no manager, no record label, no plan of any kind, and all we had was the original fire of enthusiasm for making music. That was still there, and that was a really wonderful moment for us, because it was like everything was falling apart. It was like, oh no, what's gonna happen? I don't know who I am, all this stuff, and tears, and then we stepped back and was like, hey, you guys want to get together and play some music?
Yeah, of course.
Like the most simple original fire, the most simple element of why people should ever be in a band together. It's like, do you like playing music together? And it was like, yeah, I really miss you. Let's get together.
It's like the essential thing.
Yeah.
Actually.
I feel like we all needed to individually grow ourselves back up, because we sort of were broken down, and I think we needed just to go into our own little corners of the world and just sort of like work on individual things, whether it's yourself or just other projects, and just sort of build that confidence back up and really have that admiration of one another and respect, and be like, let's write music, and feeling good about it. And that's kind of what led us to the EP and then to this record.
Well, it's really logical, because you guys have more, as you said, than half of your life making music and being on tour and recording and stuff, and you don't have like that time to start taking care of yourselves, you know, as a person.
Yeah.
And maybe you needed that. No, you needed it, of course.
100%. I mean, you know, it's like I let the music world just envelop me personally, and I needed to step back from that and sort of take care of myself. But it took a long time to kind of get to that point. But you know, luckily for me, I was ready. I was ready to like just sort of start anew and sort of just shed that old skin. So I was able to do that and come out, you know, feeling incredible and feel better now than I ever have about our music, about just my personal life, just everything all around it. You know, it takes work to feel good and just sort of like, you know, be successful in the things that you want to do, and not so much, you know, money wise or anything, but just feel good about whatever it is that you're doing, you know.
I think that we had a midlife crisis. Seriously.
And having one, and then
It's a thing, but I mean, we started to experience it in our mid-30s, and which is not unusual. Usually for men, it's like mid-30s to early 40s. But
they're calling quarter life crisis too, so it's just past a quarter life.
Yeah, it was a moment of sort of identity shock. I think so much of our personal identities were enmeshed in this band. I think that there was, among other things, because there were a lot of things at play, but one of the things was that we probably individually were trying to figure out who we were when we weren't in this band, which we'd only ever been in this band. It was every part of our identity. And if you don't have an identity away from your professional and creative life, you're going to get lost in that area, searching for things, like looking for love in all the wrong places, you know. So we looked for love in more genuine places, and then we found it at its core, and then found that we were still very much in love with what we did together as well. So it was very necessary, hence the time.
Excellent. And you guys still, like, it sounds like you're been for more than 20 years in the music industry, but you guys are barely 40, so you have like a long way to go.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Excellent. We have more questions. Hector,
Yes.
please.
Well, about this new album, Rodrigo Portillo says, the new album is Dancing with the Fire of Truth. What is the meaning of the new album? What is the meaning of this 8
The
album?
meaning of the album. That's a tough question to answer accurately, because I know for me, like as a lyricist, I don't really know what the songs are truly like about until I have some clear hindsight. Until I'm away from them and they're out in the world having a life of their own, and then I'll usually intersect with somebody randomly in a hotel lobby or at a restaurant, and somebody will make a comment and say like, oh, you know, I really loved that song about A, B, and C, and it occurs to me that I didn't even realize that the song was actually about
ABC.
A, B, and C. And so that's really another interesting part about making music, is that it's really just unearthing a lot of unconscious material. And sometimes I know very specifically what things are about, and then sometimes it'll take 10 years, and it'll be out in the world for 10 years. So 8, what is 8 about? If there's an overarching theme that I could identify, I think that it would be maybe stumbling onto some ideas of adaptability, resilience, resurgence, paranoia, love lost, love found. It does kind of run the spectrum of emotions, but that's wonderful. That's what music should do. I think music should take us on an emotional, spiritual, intellectual ride, you know, and I hope that that's what this record does.
Do you guys, talking about that, have any song that you remember that you rediscovered through the years? Like one that said like, oh man, I didn't thought it this way when we wrote it, but now it's like a total different picture.
There's a track we've been talking about today that was actually, it was a big single for us. It's called Megalomaniac. And
I love that song.
thank you so much. It seems to have a strange relevance right now. Just like, you know, we wrote that song in 2003, right? So it's almost 14 years old, and
2003. Yes.
yeah, it's kind of weird that it could be all of a sudden it has like this new life to it, which is interesting, and you just never know which way the sort of cultural, political landscape is going to shift. So unfortunately, it shifted back in a direction that the song is relevant again. I would much rather the song be vastly irrelevant and have a better cultural political landscape. You know what I mean? But we'll take the good where we can find it, I suppose.
Excellent.
Vlad Magaña says, "Hi Brandon and Jose, I'm an Incubus fan since '99. Thanks for your music. Always have been a good support for my life. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Hope to see you soon in Guadalajara, Mexico one day."
Tell them thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
You can tell them.
Yeah, keep forgetting.
Jeremias Gonzalez says, "You collaborate with Skrillex in this album. Would you like to collaborate with another DA? Which one?"
Oh no, that collaboration was unexpected, and it wasn't so much like, it was more after the fact, so the record was already finished, and he sort of mixed.
Reproduced.
He co-produced 4 of the songs, and then he mixed the entire record, and that just kind of happened at the very end when we thought we were done. So, but we were open to him, coming in and seeing what he did just made things better. So what we do in the future, we're always open for collaborations. What we'll do in the future, who knows? But I think it's fun working with different artists, especially ones from different genres and different backgrounds, because it's a good excuse to just collaborate. Artists getting together and doing work is, I think, always a good thing.
Yeah.
How do you guys meet with the Skrillex? I think lots of the people, including me, when we heard that he was going to collaborate in your new album, maybe most of the people thought that it was gonna be like an EDM sounding, and I think most of the people don't know that Skrillex has come from rock. He started as a rocker, as you can say, and then he became a DJ. How did you guys join forces? How was the meeting?
Michael, as you guys know him as our guitar player, Michael Henziger, has been friends with Sonny for a few years, and I had met Sonny briefly a couple of years ago, but never really spent any time with him. But Mike has worked with him a couple of times for Grammy projects, and he just invited him in to listen to our record when we were kind of like finished with it. We thought we were finished with it, and he expressed a great deal of interest in a track called Familiar Faces, and asked if he could take the stems to the song into his computer and take them into another room and just mess around with them. So I think we kind of assumed that he was maybe going to do a remix that would be a B-side or like a specialty thing, which we were totally open to. But he actually came back, and what he showed us was better than the original mix. Most of what he did was he just mixed it again. He EQ'd it in a way that brought a clarity to the song that wasn't there before, and then he omitted the pre-choruses. So there was a third part in the song that he just cut out and fused the verses and the choruses together. And he was like, "Don't be mad at me. I cut a part out. Don't be mad. If you don't like it, we just put it right back in." I was like, "Dude, just play it." And he played it, and I was like, "Fuck, that's better. Why didn't we think of that?" So that's the kind of like co-producing that Skrillex did. And then, long story short, a handful of weeks later, he had mixed the whole record and lent some co-producing skills to a few of the songs, and he just made it better. But he didn't really do anything to change the songs fundamentally. The songs are the songs, and the recordings of the songs were done very traditionally. He came in and he lent just a different ear to the way it ended up.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes, Andrea and Don says, "Your music can transport us to other dimensions."
Yes.
What is your creative process like, and why do you return to Mexico every time you're called to do so? I love you guys and see you at Warped Tour. Can anybody ask Brandon if he wants to spend the rest of his life with me, by the way?
You can say
The last answer to the question, it just depends on a bunch of things. Where do we find the inspiration to transport you to another dimension? Because we go to other dimensions to get the music. it exists in disparate parts, in different dimensions, and we send each other off into different dimensional realities to retrieve the bits, and then we bring them back here to the third dimension on Earth and fuse them together to create this interdimensional rock and roll that we know how to make. Jose goes into the rhythm dimension. That sounds like a lost Janet Jackson record.
Straight out of the 80s.
Yeah. This is rhythm dimension. Yeah, something like that.
Penelope Cruz says, how would your life soundtrack be? Which song would you include in that list?
Of our own, or just in general?
In general, soundtrack of your life.
Wow.
We've been in the car driving around to these interviews, and there's a playlist that our security's been playing, and it's all 90s alternative rock.
And early 2000s.
In early 2000s, and that was the soundtrack of my youth, 100%, every song. So it was like Soundgarden and Rage Against the Machine, Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Chili Peppers, just all of that great alternative rock coming out of the mid-90s, you know. So in that time, it's like transports me right back to that time when we were just starting to write music and play music, and inspired by all those bands to, like, you know, be in a band. So those are some of them.
I actually was thinking about you guys seen the rise and fall of the 90s alternative rock music, then the beginning of 2000, and nowadays, you know, with all these new genres. What's your perception on rock music nowadays?
There's like a void. I feel like there's a void in rock music right now. You know, I feel like there's a lot more. Pop music is sort of just the general mainstay right now of like radio, and I think that, you know, rock in general is just dwindling. You know, there's like a gap there, and so we wrote 8 to fill that gap, to resurge rock back into the mainstream.
Actually, no, but really, this is another question. It feels like you guys, we put together our thoughts, and now they're according to my questions. You guys have incorporated a lot of genres in your music and through your career, and you've done it successfully, you know. And but you guys still remain like when you hear a song from Incubus, besides your very recognizable voice and the music, it's like Incubus, you know. You can know that it's Incubus in every album. How do you manage to keep that way?
I don't know.
Yeah.
we thank you, by the way. That's a lovely compliment, because that's what I think probably any artist hopes, is that they could have the freedom to wander and experiment creatively, but then have people still recognize what they do as uniquely them. So that was always the hope, and if that has come across successfully in any way, then I consider it to be a successful venture. So thank you.
Is there something that you do in your writing or recording process that you always do the same? That I don't know if it's a ritual or not a ritual, but a way that you always do it in everything you manage to write or record.
There are some things that we do that are, I guess, common ways that we write music, and one of them is that we'll just eventually get together in a room, the 5 of us.
For a start.
And yeah, sometimes that's the way it starts, sometimes that's the way that the middle section work. But every record's been a little bit different. Some of them have been a lot different. A handful of our albums we've actually recorded together in a room, and the performances that are the mixed versions are us playing them together live. And then other records, like, we track, you know, we'll do the parts individually and build on top of things. So one thing that's the same in every record is that we don't have a lot of real concrete rules around how things are supposed to happen. And that's been one of the things that's kept this band alive and probably of a relative vitality, is that we aren't trying to smother the process. We think we give the process room to breathe, and we give the process permission to be non-linear sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't need to make sense why a song ends up the way it does. Sometimes a lyric doesn't even need to make sense, because that's when you're inviting a listener in to the opportunity to interpret something. I know for me as a lyricist, giving myself permission a handful of years ago to not make perfect sense was one of the most liberating things that has ever happened to me, because especially after making music for a long time, there's a desire to write good music and make it profound and have it be a consolidated thought that's legible and people can relate to and all these things, and these are the pressures that kind of creep in. But I gave myself permission a handful of years ago to not make sense at all, and then writing legible thoughts became easier all of a sudden. So sometimes they start as just nonsensical blurbs, and we let everything just sort of spill out. This is what we do as a band. You just let things spill. Don't let it spill out. Spill. You improvise. You throw everything at it in the kitchen sink, and then
you refine on the way.
You refine along the way. You become a scientist late in the process. You're an artist, scientist, artist. You know what I mean?
I know.
So there's a time to be analytical, but that time is kind of towards the very, very end of the process.
How did you guys respond to these new technologies? See, when you started in the 90s, you didn't have like these amazing record studios, and nowadays anyone can make, I don't know,
anything anywhere.
Anything anywhere.
Yeah.
How do you guys have like this app to make music on the road? How's been these new technologies adopted by you? Do you use them?
I use some of them. We use like Pro Tools to record, and Sonny used Ableton to mix the record.
Yeah.
I use some very basic technologies to demo things and to get ideas. I'll use the voice recorder on my iPhone a lot. That thing is my favorite thing from my smartphone. Is the voice recorder. It's amazing. There are some vocal parts on the record that were done on the voice recorder. But we don't go too crazy with technology, though, in general.
We're highly traditional just in the way that, there's so many amazing studios, especially where we are, that just getting one with a big room so drums can sound as big as we want to as small as we want.
Yeah.
And, having a big board because, to have so many inputs to do, like there's probably 10 room mics, so that all of that can really just lend you
versatility,
the ability to just really manipulate the sound however you'd like, Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
But as far as like, if we need to do anything quickly, computers are really easy. You can just plug and play pretty much. And but I think when we go in to record a proper album, we use a lot of the traditional, elements, a big board, and then, we kind of go out there and I have tons of drums that I could play and manipulate, and it's a fun process because you go from one song, what do you want the cymbals and snare to sound like, and drum kit, and we do that for every song. So every song is like different and colorful, and same with guitars. The guitar sounds are different with every song, and bass, and it's just layering on layering, and it's a cool process. It's a lot of work, but the end result's like, that shows you all the effort is well worth it.
But for all intents and purposes, when you listen to an Incubus record, you're listening to 5 dudes making sounds on their respective instruments.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great answer. Cam.
Lua Guerrera Villagran. I just want to say I love your music, your feeling. Brandon, you sing from the heart. Thank you guys, really. Morning View, the best album.
Thank you.
Carlos Ponce Rojas. What means to be part of Incubus now? Has it changed in comparison in to other years? Incubus means too much for us.
In a lot of ways, we have changed, but I think at our core, we're still very much the same people that started the band when we were 15. I think that the ethos and that sort of original fire we were talking about is identical. It's the same thing. We have had the wonderful good fortune of having found some success with our music, and it's come to, for me, it's been just a long sequence of welcome surprises. the whole time. Every small success, big success has been like, oh my God, like I can't believe that we get to go and play concerts for people in different countries or a different state. I can't believe that like people want to listen to our albums. I can't believe that people love us enough to hate us. You know what I mean? I loved you, man. Fuck you guys for making that record. Like, people get angry, and that's an incredible experience. It's incredible to have people. No, I mean, here's something we've learned. If people love it, awesome. If people hate it, awesome. If they don't care, that's the scary thing. If people become impartial to what you're doing, that's the thing that is really can be heartbreaking. Is if they just don't give a shit. If they hate it,
I don't know if it's so good that they hate you so much, because it could be risky for you guys and for your integrity. You know, there are some like crazy fans.
Sure.
We've seen some stories in life, so
yeah, of course.
We hope everybody likes your
but
records.
sometimes we won them back. Sometimes like they love us initially, and then we make a bunch of records. They're like, I'm done with these assholes. Like they betrayed me for the last time, and then we put out a record, and they're like, what'd you guys do? Like, what's over there? I want to check it out. And then we win them back. Yeah, it's like having a love relationship, but with millions of people. Like we're dating millions of people. You know, you fall in love and out of love, and you know, I liked you, I loved you.
You get back together.
It's highly cyclical. Everything just kind of it's all the cycles. You know, we win some and lose some, and then it just keeps going. You know.
Yeah.
Excellent. We have only time for 2 more questions, so please come, and Juan Hector.
Okay, Maria José Baldo, if you could choose a painter to represent your music, which one would you choose and why?
Ooh.
Who did this one? Mooch, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Edward Munch.
I like Salvador Dali.
Ooh.
Just the weird surrealism, just out there, yet beautiful and awe-inspiring.
Can it be Salvador Dali, Mooch, Butt Baby?
Totally.
That's our band.
Excellent.
Okay, from the early days of Incubus, Artie Gomez says, "What do you remember about the emotions in the band during those early days?"
The emotions in the band.
Yeah, 20 years, obviously.
Yeah, I remember being. Gosh, it depends on what era we're talking about.
I don't know. For me, it's the same emotions, just experiencing them as a 20-year-old and experiencing them as a 40-year-old. You know,
Yeah.
I think as a 20-year-old, I let the emotions sort of just sweep me, you know, off of my feet, and whether it's good or bad, I think more highs and lows. Where now I'm just more in the middle, and I
You're
still
more
feel
like the lines in this chair.
yeah, you know, not big, great, you know, like spikes or dips, just kind of right in the middle, kind of right where I like to be, you know.
Yeah.
But a lot of the same experiences and emotions for sure.
I remember I stunk more. I didn't care about like taking showers or washing my hair.
I stink a little right now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Last question.
Rodrigo Portillo, which is your opinion about Mexican culture?
It's incredible. It's rich. It's alive. You know, it's so deep. You know, and I'm learning more and more about it as I get older. My family, you know, is from here, so as a kid I didn't really grow to appreciate it. But now, as I get older, coming here and then just talking to my family more and more, it's growing in me. So it's been great.
There's something deeply familiar to us about Mexican culture as well, because we grew up in California, which is basically like Mexico North. It's like extreme North Mexico. So between the food and the language, there's something deeply familial and familiar about Mexican culture that has always made us feel excited to come here, because we're playing in a different country, we're visiting a different country, but it feels so close to home at the same time. And so on my mom's side of the family, we're Mexican Indian, and all of my mom's relatives and stuff, and many of them came from Mexico too. And so it's like we're coming home in a way when we visit here. So it's amazing. We love coming here. We can't wait to come back. May 27th, I think, will be our
I know.
Yeah.
And we're really happy to have you guys here. Actually, they're gonna, for those who don't know, they're gonna play in the Warped Tour and on May 27th. And we hope to hear some of the new songs, of course,
Yeah.
some of the old ones. I have two requests that I will give you later when we finish this. I want to hear them. And unfortunately, our time is up. But we really enjoyed this chat.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you, everybody
for
out there.
having us. And gracias a todos por sintonizar, gracias a todo el equipo de producción, Michelle, Héctor, Camila, Pris, Julio. Nos vemos en el próximo videochat de la casa Rolling Stone. Gracias a Incubus, un aplauso. Thank you, man. So,
Ciao.
ciao.